Hello and welcome to Dickinson's Real Deal. On this show, I help members of the public to get the very best price for their antiques and valuables. We give them a choice. Sit down with one of our regular dealers. They're going to try and tempt you with a cash offer on the table today.
850, 900.
Think a little bit more.
If I don't think that offer is good enough, I'm going to say no. Don't accept that. Have a gamble. Go to auction and hope to get a little bit more money there. Today, the show comes to you from Ormskirk in Lancashire. There's a great crowd of people here. They've been here since early this morning. They've brought along their treasures. They are determined to do business. They want to walk away with cash in their pocket or gamble at auction, but either way, they want the real deal.
With no time to lose, it's straight over to Stuart Hofgartner for the first deal of the day.
Hi, your name's?
It's Glyn.
Glyn. Hi, my name's Stuart Hofgartner.
Hi.
And your name is?
Jessica.
Jessica. Ah, well, I've got my oldest daughter's name is Jessica, so we'll get on all right. Who's going to tell me where the clock came from?
I can't actually remember where I bought it. I know it was about 10, 12 years ago.
Okay, what have you found out about it since you purchased it?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, the only reason I bought it was purely for this sort of tile decoration.
The ceramic panels inside.
I just really,
yeah, they're really
like
good.
them.
Very much aesthetic movement style about it. I mean, there's lots of designers and makers that would have been prolific in designing things like this ceramic panels around 1880 to 1900. It's French movement, I've had a look, but nice. the case itself looks very much for the English market, so it's not necessarily French. Original matte gilt finish, that's also a nice touch. Why are you selling it now?
Well, we're in a small two-bedroom bungalow at the moment, and my daughter's very fond of her dolls, but there's no space for them. So I thought if we can try and convert the loft in some way, it gives me some freedom away from these toys of hers.
You bought it here to sell it for the right price?
Yes, yes.
I'll have a go at buying it.
Okay.
You've got to stop me when I put enough on the table, okay? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 220, 240, 260, 280, 300, 320, 340, 360. You're not saying anything.
I think she's thinking, you know, it's nice to be someone with a sense of humour.
380, 400.
I'm much happier than I was. Hi.
Very nice quality item. We've got a French clock here. There was thought it was an English case. I'm pretty sure it's a French case. The building is typically French. The panels are very interesting. They're very crisp. They're very fresh. 1890, 1900, striking on a coil. £300 to £500 is the estimation. £400 on the table, mid-estimate. It's a very good start. I'd like to see a little bit more. Otherwise, it's probably worth a gamble. But if more money comes down, then it may be worth considering.
So it's £400.
I mean, the auction's tempting, because I did spend far too much on it. But I think if you're prepared to put a bit more down, then we can try and...
I'll put another £40 down there. So you've now got £440. That's my price.
I'm very close to, very close to shaking your hand, actually.
Well, I think we're almost there. I think Stuart's been a little canny. He's put 440. I think had he put 450, I think you would have almost been there. He's putting his hand in his pocket. I think it makes the difference because at $450, I think that price is a fair deal in the current market for that clock.
Well, thank you, David.
Yes.
The decision's yours now.
I think you should shake his hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
So we have a deal, Jessica, do we?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Everything's going for it. I hope it's going, but everything's going for it. Matte gilt finish, porcelain panels. It all seems in super order. Circa 1880, £450. A bit more than I thought I'd have to pay for it. Nevertheless, I love it.
It's goodbye to the clock and hello to more dolls. Well done, Jessica. As we journey our way over to Jan Keane, she's taking a walk on the wild side.
Well, Phyllis, I can see what you've bought in here, this little polar bear. Would you like to tell me a little bit about his background?
It was my great-grandmother's, and it's in the cabinet at home next to the fireplace, and there's a lot of display items in there that belong to her. I thought it was a pretty little item to bring along today.
Yes, he's very nice. And here we have a clear mark underneath saying Dalton, Lambeth, England.
Yeah.
Dalton Lambeth is a well-respected, well-known pottery, and I would say dates from about the 20s, 30s. Mm-hmm. So now you want me to put a little bit of money on the table?
Yes, please, yeah.
So let's see where we go from here. 20, 40 pounds. Now what do I deduce from those raised eyebrows?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Am I miles away?
Yes.
I am. Okay, well, how about we make it 60? How does that grab you?
No.
So, what about if I put £80 on the table?
No, I don't think that's enough.
If we round it up to 100, do we have a deal?
No. I think he's worth more.
Okay. I'll put down 120.
I think more than that.
Okay. My last and final offer, and I won't go any more than this, is 140.
Well, just before you make up your mind for this, let me just say £140 for this piece of Dalton, though very, very attractive, I think is a very good price. For cash, no deduction, £140, I think that's all right.
So, what do you think?
I just think at the auction you've got a large market that specialises in Dalton figures, so you're opening it up to a...
I know, but then you've got your 15%. I'll tell you what, I'll round it off and I'll say 150.
No, I think I'd like to take him to auction.
You'd like to take it to auction. So is it the first auction you've been to, Phyllis?
Yes, it will be, yeah.
Oh, lovely. So an exciting day out. And you get to keep him for a bit longer and pop him back in the cabinet.
Yes.
Well, all the best to you and have a wonderful day, and I hope you get your money. In my humble opinion, I would be amazed if it made any more, so I think she'll be wishing she'd take my money.
Phyllis, you're super confident, but does your husband John share the same opinion? Let's find out, as it's about to go under the gavel of auctioneer Matt Blackmore.
Now, on the dealer's day, your wife sat down with Jan, one of our regular dealers. The estimate in the auction house here is 80 to 120, but the independent valuers, they liked it a little bit more. They said 100 to 150. Now, you weren't there, but what do you think about that? Should she have taken the 150, or should she have gambled and come to auction, in this case, sent you to auction?
I think she should have taken the money on the day, Dave, to be honest.
Well, I have to say, I think it was a very good offer, the 150 quid, so I think she should have taken the money, but let's see what happens. The reserve is 80. Did she do the right thing? It's coming up now.
And I can start this lot off at £50 with me, £50, 55.60, 65.70.
There's bidders in the room.
85.90. 90's with me on commission.
£90 on commission. There's 2 or 3 bidders in the room. We're at 95.
Gentleman on the second row. 95, we have it. 95, no interest on the net. Your bid, sir.
In the room, £95. Now, There's a bit of commission to be taken off that. I make it just over £80. On the dealer's day, she turned down a tempting cash offer of £150. You're now going home with 80 quid. What do you think? It's the luck of the draw.
I think I'd rather have you say "I told you so, Dave" than me.
Okay. Well, let me just say this to your wife, Phyllis. On the day, sometimes it looks like it's worth a gamble. On this occasion, I think the offer was pretty good, but you never know. Sale rooms are funny places, but the real deal was with our dealer, Jan, 150 quid. Jan, you offered a really good price. That was the real deal.
Oh, Henry.
Henry Nichols has a couple of beauties twinkling on his table. David and auctioneer Max Blackmore are watching closely, curious to see if Henry will offer big for such a modern piece.
Quite obvious what we've got here. We've got a white gold wedding band, and we have a solitaire diamond ring. What's the history of these?
Well, they were mine, and unfortunately my marriage split up. So about 3 years now into it, and I've decided I've had enough of them just sitting there in the drawer doing nothing.
So what we've got here, we've got a Marquise cut diamond here, and it's a lovely, lovely colour. It sparkles really nicely. Looking at it through the glass, you can see the inclusions there on each end. It's set in 18 carat white gold, but I love Marquise cut diamonds. They're really, really nice. The actual wedding band, I'm afraid, is only really going to be worth its weight in gold. So the question is, what's it worth? I mean, rule of thumb, people seem to think diamonds are £1,000 a carat. Okay, so if you've got something like this is just under half a carat, by rights you'd think sort of £500 or so. Not always the case.
Now, very glamorous, Max. Fairly modern, perhaps 8-10 years old. But what is nice about this, we have a Marquise cut diamond. This wonderful shape. Normally, you tend to associate it with larger, very expensive diamonds.
Indeed, you do. Yes, yes, quite right. It's a lovely pair with the wedding ring, which is fitted to take the unusually cut stone, got a little V out of it so that they fit together on the finger.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I think it's a very nice little set.
Where are you going to pitch your valuation?
If we're going to get a decent chance of selling, the estimate needs to be a come and get me estimate. So I think I put £300 to £400.
Okay. Now, our dealer Henry, he's got an eye to business. I'm pretty sure he'll want to buy this. Let's see what he puts on the table.
Let's see what we can do. So I'm going to get some money out.
Okay.
50, 100, 150, 200. Do you want me to keep going?
Yes. Keep going.
250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 500.
Keep going.
Keep going.
We're getting there.
Indeed. Oh, here's David.
So there's £500 on the table.
Yep.
What I like about this particular item is, first of all, a little Marquise cut diamond. Beautiful shape. It's just less than half a carat, 0.45. They have said, the independent values of the auctioneers, £300 to £400. Now, on saying that, Henry, I think they were modest. And the reason I think they were modest is because look at the shape of the diamond, beautifully cut, with good clarity, good quality, good colour. So I think both parties here, I think, are on a winner. I would say cash is king. Don't worry about the auction. Take that money and let Henry get on with his business.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Well, Susan, what do you think? 500.
Another one, another pink one on, and.
Oh, you're cheeky. I'll tell you what I'll do.
We'll call it a deal.
I'll tell you what I'll do.
Go on.
I'll put another 20 down on the table, 520, and that's going to be my final offer.
Okay.
We have a deal?
Deal.
Fantastic. Yeah. Susan, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up.
I think that's...
to take it to auction.
You're going to take it to auction?
Well,
you're sure?
A little bit more might persuade me.
Will Marion convince James to up his offer? Find out after the break.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
We're in Ormskirk today and the crowds are building in the dealer's den. The next lot is with James Late. He has a family piece with an air of mystery about it.
Any family likenesses there, I'm wondering?
Well, there is a likeness to my dad, not me.
Is there?
Yeah.
So it is a family piece, is it?
It's a family piece. As far as we know, it's been in the family since I was tiny.
I mean, looking at his costume, he's 1760, 1770, so he's been around a bit.
Yeah, he looks it.
The frame, of course, is much later. The frame's about 1820.
Really?
Yeah. The other thing I'm looking at immediately is the fact that this is painted on canvas, which is very unusual for a miniature. 99% of miniatures were painted on either card or ivory. So I'm wondering whether this might have been cut out of a larger group portrait, perhaps. Might have been a husband and wife or brother and sister, because I'm thinking that this was probably put into this frame not that long ago. I mean, talking perhaps 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because this canvas has got a lot of patination and dirt in it.
Yeah.
Now, if it had been in a frame all its life, with glass in front of it, it would be in pristine condition.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've obviously examined the back, no sign of anything?
No signature, no.
Nothing
There's
at all?
nothing on it, no.
No. I mean, I think it's a nice quality thing. It'd be lovely to know who he was.
Yeah, yeah.
So have you got fed up with it?
No, but it's, you know, it's just deteriorating and
Yeah.
I think it's so sad.
So, shall I try and buy it from you?
Please.
Okay. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180.
Well, it is an oil painting.
It is an oil painting.
I thought it was worth a little bit more.
I hope it is, because otherwise I wouldn't make a profit.
That's true.
I'll put a bit more money on the table. What have we got there? 180. 200. That's sort of where I see it, but because I like it, I'll put an extra 20 down. 220. I think that's...
to take it to auction.
You're going to take it to auction?
Well,
you sure?
A little bit more might persuade me.
I'll put one more note down from this pocket.
Not a 5.
Not a 5, no. I wouldn't insult you with a 5. So that's another 10, so that's 230, is that right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
We've got a deal.
We've got a deal,
Yeah.
all right.
Thanks,
Thanks
James.
very much for bringing
you.
it.
Thanks for telling me so much about it.
I'm very pleased to own it.
We really didn't know it would be worth anything, because it is in very poor condition. I'm very pleased.
James pulled out the big notes there, but will he earn a profit in return? We'll find out later in the show. It's straight over to Henry, who's getting rather excited.
What we've got here is a really delightful magnifying glass that also doubles up as a bookmark.
Yeah.
What's the history of it?
Well, it was one of my great aunts, and she died, and she left me quite a few things.
It's really quite an unusual piece. The magnifying glass itself has got a crescent moon on there.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, which is really quite sweet. If we turn it over, we can see the maker's mark up here is Samuel Morden and Company. Okay,
Right.
Now in the Victorian period and through the Edwardian period, they were more famed for making propelling pencils and pens.
Oh.
Okay, so to have a magnifying glass with a bookmark is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Now it dates to about 1910, and it's Chester, the hallmark.
Right.
Okay, and we turn it over back onto the front here. At the top we've got a parrot, and then down the side here we've got Illawalla.
Yes.
Which would suggest something Australian.
Yes,
perhaps.
that's how I've always thought it came from Australia.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting to have something that was made in England,
Yeah.
went all the way over to Australia, and then has been brought all the way back again
Yeah.
to its rightful home.
Right. Yeah.
I love it as a piece. It's quite unusual. So I think 20, 40, 60, 70 pounds. That's my opening bid for you.
I think a bit more.
A bit more?
I think.
A lot more or a bit more?
Well.
Okay. How about I take the 10 away and we'll round it to 80, 100 pounds. I think £100 is where I want to be with it, because as much as it's an unusual thing, you've got to appeal to
the right market for it.
Would you like to go a bit higher?
A bit higher. I think, for me, I'll go a little bit more for you.
Right.
Okay, but I think any more than what I'm just about to put down, I think then you should go to auction. So I'm going to go 110, and that is my final offer, Janet. Down to you.
Could you put another 10 down?
Janet, I'm not going to. I'm going to stick to my guns.
No. OK, I've heard the call. It's 110, a very sporting offer. You've asked for 120. I think it's worth 120 myself, but Henry says no. That's where I want to be. But I think because of the maker's mark on that, it is worth the gamble in this particular case. It is a superb item, and there are collectors out there.
OK.
Well, the choice is yours, Janet. I mean, if you want to go to auction with it, you know, then do so.
I think I'll take David's opinion and take it to auction.
OK, well, I wish you the very, very best of luck and have a fantastic holiday.
Thank you very much.
Janet.
Thank you. He offered me £110, but David's opinion was I could get a little bit more at auction. So I thought, well, why not? I'll go and try.
I must have had a mad moment. I should have bought that, really, because it's a good thing. And Samuel Morden and Company, top-end makers, an unusual piece. I don't know why I didn't put the money down on the table, but hey-ho, c'est la vie. Can't buy it all, that's what I say. So there we go. I'll try harder next time.
Over to David, who's with Jeff, as another wife sends her husband along to the auction.
This is the Sanson Morden bookmarker. I think it's a great small collectible item. The off-screen estimate on the day was 80 to 120 and the reserve is 100. Now she's turned down 110.
It's a nice article, David, but if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it'll go back home and be used.
Is it going to make more in the sale room? I don't know, but let's find out.
Well, I can start on commission at £70. £70 with me. This unusual little item at £70. Further bids now. 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100.
It's 100.
No interest on the net. Selling then at £100 to the commission bid.
There's good news and bad news in a way, because £100 it got up to. Take away the commission, it leaves £85. Or your wife had a gamble, and it is a lovely item. You're going home with 85 quid. Disappointed?
We're happy with that, David, because it's a gamble, and with a gamble, there's wins and there's losses.
Absolutely. On the day, the real deal, Henry, our dealer, £110. That was the real deal.
Oh dear, Jeff, it was a gamble, and this time it didn't pay off. Matthew has brought along his treasure chest, but will his hoard of gold tempt Jan?
And would you like to tell me anything about these sovereigns that you brought in today?
Both of them are actually inherited pieces. One of them was my grandmother's and one was a great aunt, so they've been in the family for a long, long time.
And why are you considering selling now? Any particular reason?
There's a particular reason. Both my children are autistic and one of them's got speech problems. And we've heard that if we have the opportunity to go and swim with dolphins, there's a chance it might actually bring him on. So we're hoping to raise some money to actually put a deposit down on a holiday to go to the States and let him swim with dolphins when we can.
Oh, well, what a wonderful reason to be selling them. Well, here we have this one. Sovereign, mounted in gold, 1978, made into a pendant with this nice fretwork frame, all clearly stamped on the back 9-carat gold, as is the chain as well, so that's a nice complete piece. This one here is also lovely, which again is dated 1889, so that much older, and clearly stamped as well 9-carat on the actual frame of the pendant, so clearly no question that they're all solid gold. With that story in the back of my mind, I'm going to put down some money, which I hope will tempt you, Matthew.
Thank you.
That's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600.
It's a nice starting price.
Nice starting price. That's one dolphin. More than that, I hope.
I think that's half a seat.
OK, if I say 650, what about that?
So I just think there's a little bit more, well, a lot more.
Tell you what I'll do, because it's going to such a worthy cause, I'm going to make it 700, and I know that is pretty close to the scrap value.
It's getting very tempting. Can I squeeze you a little bit?
How about if I make it 720? And I think I'm getting pretty close.
Pretty close means a little bit more.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll do you 730, and I really feel, Matthew, that I've been very fair.
I think I'm actually happy with that, actually.
You happy with
I
that?
am.
That deserves a handshake?
It certainly does. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Well played, Matthew. Coming up, James isn't here to make friends.
I'll put some money on the table.
Okay.
You'll probably be very cross with me.
But will they kiss and make up in the end?
A bit more.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal. The team are in Ormskirk today and people are flooding in with their antiques and collectibles.
Janet, hello.
We're with James, who's been served up his next item.
You brought along this wonderful Edwardian tray. So what's the history of it?
It was my grandma's.
Yeah.
Then it was passed down to my mum, and then obviously I've got it.
And you remember it all your life?
I do, yeah.
But not being used much?
No, I never remember it being used.
No, there's not a single ring mark on it?
No.
And it's got a nice patination, and it's not stained or scuffed or burnt.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's mahogany, you know that.
Yes.
And all this is inlaid with satin wood. I mean, it's a wonderful example of Edwardian Sheraton revival workmanship.
It's lovely.
I can't really praise it enough. It's just a lovely example. But the reality of the situation now is it's not worth very much money. So I hope you haven't got great expectations. Yeah, they're good for tobogganing on. I'll put some money on the table.
Okay.
You'll probably be very cross with me. 20, 40, 60, 80 pounds.
Okay. It's a bit more?
Not very much more.
Go on then, how much more?
I'm going to go into the other pocket.
Okay.
90 pounds. I don't think that I'm going to be able to get more than about 120 for it.
Right.
So I'm leaving myself £30 profit.
Another 10?
You want me to give you 100 for it? Will you be happy at 100?
Yeah.
Ish? There we are, £100.
Deal.
We've got a deal?
Yeah.
OK. Well, thank you very much for bringing it.
Thank you very much.
So James thinks it'll be hard to sell on. We'll find out later if the tray's gone to a good home or if he's using it to serve up his breakfast. Let's march on over to Henry's table, where his next item is standing to attention.
What have we got here then? Tell me a bit about the history of it.
This is my soldier suit.
Right.
It was bought for me in 1953.
OK, not national service then?
Not national service, no. For the coronation celebrations.
OK, fantastic.
At a village called Moore, near Warrington.
Right, a little bit too small for you now.
Yes, it's just a little bit too small, yeah.
Well, it's a Grenadier Guards uniform. Looking at it, it's made of felt. Everything suggests it's 1950s of the period. Yeah. And I have to say, it's probably one of the most unique things that I've seen in recent years. Yeah. I've had many uniforms over the years, but I've never seen one of these.
No. Well, I know there was at least one more of these, because another boy in the village had virtually the identical uniform.
Right.
But he didn't have the busby.
Right.
And as a result, I came first and he came second.
Oh, wonderful. I have to say, it's in remarkable condition. It really is lovely. Yeah. But how do we value it?
Exactly.
I mean, it is purely and simply a novelty item. Yeah. It'll be a good thing to put into my shop window.
Yeah.
And it's a talking point.
That's right. Well, one thing, it has got a small stain there. I got told off by my mother because I wouldn't take it off. and I wanted an ice lolly.
And that's a 1950s ice lolly stain?
That's a 1950s ice lolly stain.
Great. Well, see, that to me adds more character to it, and is a little bit more fun to tell as a story. OK, I'm going to be fairly brave, I think, with this, and I think I'm going to offer you £10, £20 for it.
I think you've bought the Busby anyway.
OK, £25. I'm getting kind of close.
No, not quite.
So, they're changing the guard at Buckingham Palace. Christopher Robin came down with Alice. You weren't Christopher Robin, were you?
I wasn't, no, not David.
Cracking little lot. Brings back amazing memories for you as a child.
It does.
Why
indeed.
are you daring to sell this?
Well, Mother's just moved house. She's moved into a granny flat with us, and we've just got no space for it anymore, and it needs to go to a more loving home nowadays.
OK. Well, I think 50 to 70 was the estimation of the independent values in the auctioneer. There's 25 quid on the table. If you don't get that kind of money, I'm going to say take it to auction. I'm sure there'll be some ladies there at the auction that'll fall in love with that and they'll buy it for Robin.
Thank you, David. So how about if I take that £5 back, if I put a 20 on the table and call it £40, how does that seem? And I think that's my final offer.
Well, I think after what David said, I think I've fallen in love with it a little bit more now. So I think I'll take it to auction.
OK, that's fair play. I wish you the best of luck.
OK, thank you very much.
Rob.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
If it doesn't reach its reserve when I take it to auction, I think I'll take it home. It doesn't really matter. At least I can keep it for another few years until the next coronation. Might have a grandchild by then.
We salute you for gambling, Rob. Let's see if it pays off.
And what we've got here is a Grenadier Guards uniform made for a child, for Queen Elizabeth II, of course, for her coronation in 1953. Now, how old were you in 1953?
I was 4.
4?
Yeah, so it was mine.
So this was yours. You had your own little outfit. You sat down with Henry, and Henry said, I'll give you 40 quid. So you've decided to gamble at auction. It's coming up now. It's got to make £60 to sell. That's the reserve. Let's see what happens.
Unusual little item, this. Child's felt Grenadier Guards uniform. So I made £40 for it. 40 I have at £40. Interesting item here at £40. At 45, at 50. At 55, at 60 on commission.
It's made the reserve. It's worth that.
£60, still cheap for a vintage costume there. £60 it is, and we're selling it.
OK, it's sold. 60 quid. That's another bit out of the attic. We've got some commission to take away. The time we take that away, that's £51. Now, what's your first reaction? You're going home with £51. You have just lost that wonderful uniform which was bought for you as a little lad.
I know, and since the valuation day, my daughter has found out she's pregnant. So if it's a boy, it could have been used at the next coronation. You never know. But never mind.
Never mind. OK.
I'm happy. It's the real
well, what about
deal.
the 51 quid? Any idea what you're going to do with this?
Yes, I'll buy something for the new baby,
Okay.
the new arrival.
It made £60 under the gavel, and Rob is going home with £51, which he is going to put to very good use. Now that is the real deal.
Coming up, the money is flying down on Stuart's table.
400 or 50, 500. Might run out of table, might not at this rate.
Might.
Where will it stop?
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
The den has been full of activity today. Next up, we're with Stuart. Will this item strike a chord and persuade him to open his wallet?
And you brought along a fiddle. Do you play?
I used to. I played in the school orchestra and it hasn't been played for 40 years.
So has it come down to the family?
My grandfather bought it. He used to buy violins and
Did he?
for a couple of pounds in the 60s, clean them up, put new bridges, pegs and things on, then sell them on for another couple of pounds. But when he got that, when he realised
he put it on one side,
and gave it to me when I joined the orchestra.
So was this a school orchestra? Is it?
School
Yes.
orchestra,
So even then, it was. I mean, you were quite privileged to play this. What I liked about it, particularly, is dated 1901. I mean, that's just a nice touch as well, isn't it? And then we can just see the maker. Emmanuel Whitmarsh, is it?
That's it.
Yeah. I look for a signature. Always look for a signature on bows,
Yes.
and there isn't one.
There is one, I believe.
Is there? Oh, I
Yes.
couldn't find it. You know.
Near the heel somewhere.
Well, that's where it normally is, but I couldn't find it because that is important. Ah, just in there, yeah.
It's a French maker, I know that.
Is it?
Yes.
But what a lovely piece of ivory to work there.
Lovely.
And the button on the end. The button's got a crack in it, which is a
Yes.
shame. The end stopped, but that's super. Why do you want to sell it now?
Because I've just not done anything with it for the last 40 years. I've had it valued a couple of times.
You have, so
I
you've got a
have,
fair
so
idea
I've
what
got
it's
an
worth.
idea what it's worth.
Good. I better have a go at buying it, hadn't I?
Yes.
I do like it. Let's have a go. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 500. Might run out of table, mightn't I, at this rate?
You might.
550, 600, 650, 700. At the corner of my eye, I can see you're shaking your head, so I'm not there yet, am I?
No.
Well, let me tell you what the independent valuers say here, but they are saying in their professional opinion 1,000 to 1,500 quid. This looks like a quality instrument at the turn of the century. The maker's name is well known. The bow is extraordinary. It's a superb quality bow. There seems to be quite a few hundreds in that bow. So I'm going to say, unless you get more money, take it to a wider audience, people who really know their stuff about the instruments, and you may be surprised on the day. Sometimes these can bring a lot more than you realise.
Thank you, David.
700, that's a mean bid, isn't it? 750, 800, 850, 900, 1,000.
If it was just the violin, yes, but with the bow as well, I'd like a bit more. Because I know the bow's quite valuable.
You know, Stuart, I'm listening from the sidelines, and I've got a feeling that was it your
grandfather?
Your grandfather, I think a little bit of that has rubbed off. A little bit of that wheeling and dealing with instruments, and I think I agree with you. That looks to me like it could really surprise you in an auction. You're moving in the right direction. You're fiddling the right tune. I'm going to leave you with Stuart. I think you can do all right here.
Thank you.
Well done, David. Thank you. So what we got on the table there?
1,000.
1,000, 20, 40, 60, 80, 1,100.
I think a little bit more.
1,200.
Any more?
That's my price now.
That's your price. I think that's a deal then.
We have a deal?
Thank
Well
you.
done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I eventually got him to go to £1,200. I thought it was a good deal to take the 1,200, so we did a deal on it.
That's music to our ears, Judith. We're pleased for you. Time to find out if our dealers are whistling a happy tune too. Jan gave as much as she could for the two sovereigns after hearing Matthew's story.
So we're hoping to raise some money to actually swim with dolphins when we can.
She then went on to scrap them, earning a very small profit. Henry scrapped the band but sold the white gold solitaire to a Japanese client at the Royal Horticultural Antiques Fair.
Yeah, they're good for tobogganing on.
And that's what James may have to use it for, as the tray is still with him. But he did sell the canvas on to another dealer and cashed it in at the same time. Stuart is sending the violin and bow off to a specialist music sale.
The bow is extraordinary. It's a superb quality bow.
He's hoping to do further research on the bow, as he suspects it's unique and may be of more interest than the actual violin. And as for the mantel clock, it didn't hang around for long. Stuart sold it on the very next day to a specialist and clocked up a great profit.
We've had a fabulous day today. There really has been a lot of exciting action, buying and selling, and that's what I like to see. Don't forget to join me, David Dickinson, next time for Dickinson's Real Deal. Bye for now.